to another segment of the Dr. Marj Show. You know, Kansas City is known as the City of Fountains. It also is known as a great tourist site. Along with that, we're also a great place to come for national conventions. And with us this week, we have the Shriners. They're actually the ancient Egyptian Arabic ordered noble mystic shrine of North and South America. Now that's a mouthful. But with me this morning is my guest, Rochelle Julian, who is the 41st Past Imperial Potentate of the Shriners. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Well, welcome,
yes.
welcome, welcome, welcome. So not only are we glad that you're here, he has roots in Kansas City. One of Kansas City's own who has come back home, and he's going to share information with us as it relates to the Shriners. So can we start with the historical aspect of the Shriners?
Shriners was formed in 1829. We're 130-some years old. Okay. We're one of the oldest black organizations in the country. In fact, we're one of the oldest fraternal organizations in the country. We went to court in 1929, okay, and we won our right to exist, which saved all the black fraternities and sororities without having to go through that same fight again. The Supreme Court ruled in our favor, 9-0, that we had the right to exist as an organization.
Okay, so you're not only in the United States, or you are through different cities in the United States. I believe it's like 47 states.
We're in 47 states and 16 countries.
47 states and 16 countries. Okay, and so tell us what is I know you can't share particular information, but there is an order as you reach that level of potentate. There are stages that you go through before you get there, and how long does it take you to get there? Because I know it's not just an election that takes place. It's not a popularity contest. You have to work to get to that highest position.
That's very true. We have local temples throughout the country. We have 251 temples throughout the world. Each one of our temples have a president, which is called an illustrious potentate. Okay. And then on our international board, we have officers as well. The president of the organization is called the Imperial Potentate. Okay. And it took me 22 years. I went out in my 22nd years, 20 years to get there, and then you serve for 2 years.
Okay. And I know that there is also a female counterpart to being a part of the potentate, and that is called the Imperial Commanders.
Imperial Commanders,
right.
Our daughters of Isis.
Okay.
They're an auxiliary to our organization. And as you well know, our organization is primary based on charity. Right. And charity is some of the work. And I know that when you were Imperial Potentate, you had a focus and you worked with the St. Jude's Hospital. Why don't you share with us some of the things and why you chose St. Jude to work with, first of all? I went to St. Jude's 3-4 years ago through a gentleman by the name of Richard Snow. And they took us to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and we took a tour. Anybody that go into St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and not affected by it, then something is wrong with them. Okay. So we took a challenge on to raise money for St. Jude's, and I'm happy to report that we gave St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital $88,000 last year.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. And I know that that was very close to your heart because that was something that you wanted to continue, yes, while it was a part of your reign as being the Imperial Potentate. But I also know that you give money or you provide scholarships.
Yes, we do. We give out, on average, about $40,000 in scholarships a year. 40 students receive $1,000 a year for us towards not just college, but any institution of higher learning.
Okay, and so it's not just a one-time endowment that is given or a scholarship that is given. Can they receive it for multiple years, or how does that work?
They can receive it for up to 4 years.
Up to 4 years, okay. And is there an application process? Do you have to know someone who is a part of the Shrine, the Shriners, to be a part of this scholarship or to be a recipient, or is it just someone in your city? If you know the chapter in your city or the organization in your city, can you go and just apply?
Yes. All you have to do is know someone that's a member of the Shrine,
okay,
and they can give you an application. You do not have to be affiliated with the Shrine in order to receive the $1,000 scholarship.
Okay, so share with me some of the activities that are going on in this great city of Kansas City.
Like today, we had drill competition today. We had motorcycle competition. I believe that going on right now is the clown competition, okay, and our youth drill competition. Tonight And in fact, we'll have what we call a student aid program that actually raises the money that we give out for the scholarships.
Okay, and where's that going to be held?
It's going to be held at the convention center in the ballroom.
Okay, so tonight is Tuesday night, and
Yes.
so tonight is when you raise the money to give the scholarships. And I also know that there's an annual parade that happens.
And that parade will be happening tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, and I believe it's downtown. And while I'm talking about charity, Marj,
Okay.
let me say to everybody that we made $1 million commitment to the American Diabetes Association,
Right.
and while we're here this weekend, we're going to give them $252,000.
Oh, that's wonderful. And was that money raised from the walk that you had last Saturday? I know that there's always an annual diabetes walk that I try to participate in.
Yes.
And that money is raised from there and then given every year. So it goes to the Diabetes Association, or does it go to the local chapter of Diabetes for Kansas City, Missouri?
It goes to the National Diabetes Association.
Okay.
Every one of our temples and courts, local temples and local courts, raise $500 apiece every year.
Okay.
And they donate that to the national body, and the national body matches it with $50,000, and we give it to the American Diabetes Association.
Okay, that's great information to know. And so a lot of worthy causes. I've heard education, I've heard health, I've heard that you have given not only to diabetes but also to St. Jude's because of research that is done for young people. So those are great things. It's not just you show up in town and you have a good time. You're here because you have identified those causes that are sincere to the organization and being able to give back to the community. How many people are here in Kansas City?
We've got about 40,000 people here in Kansas City this week. And let me say this, right now going on today, in fact, I went through it this morning, we're having free PSA testing going on,
Okay.
free urinalysis testing to determine if you're HIV positive. We tested for gonorrhea, syphilis. We're doing blood pressure screenings and cholesterol and diabetes screening right here this weekend.
And it's free. There's
free.
no cost associated.
No cost associated with it.
Okay, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
Did you ever think that this little boy who was raised in Missouri would reach the highest level that you have in the shrine and being the Imperial Potentate? Did you ever dream that one day that you would be the person who was in charge of everything that goes on nationally as it relates to the Shriners?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. When I became a member, I had no idea that this would happen to me.
Okay.
To be one of the most 100 influential blacks in America, as they say, me, Little Rick,
Yeah.
or Ricky as y'all call
That's
me.
Ricky.
As y'all
It's
call me.
Rick.
Right.
Rochelle. That's
No.
Ricky.
Right. No, not me. I
Yeah.
had no idea, but I tell you, it's been a great challenge. It's been 22 years coming through the line. It's my 23rd year, and I've never been experienced something that's so rewarding as this, and working for charity. Even though I talked about us doing the 40,000, the 88,000 for St. Jude and 225, actually our organization gives over $10 million a year in charities.
Okay, that's great. That's a great number, and it's wonderful to know that we give back because it's important as philanthropists and as African American philanthropists that we leverage our dollars and we give them to what the needs of our community.
That's very important.
Yes.
In fact, some of the things that we're doing in our buildings across this world is that we're actually bringing our kids in, and because everybody don't go to college, we're bringing our kids in and talking about the vocational schools, as well as college. Our lawyers, our doctors, our plumbers, our carpenters, our electricians actually come into our buildings and explain to our children what it takes to become one of those.
And speaking of schools, I know that you always have a giveaway that you find a school in the community in which you are visiting, in the city in which you're visiting, and the clowns go, the members go, the potentate goes, then you provide I guess it's a backpack giveaway or supplies for the young people. And it's my understanding that you all have identified Phyllis Wheatley as the school that you will give back to in Kansas City this year. Is that correct?
That's correct. And in fact, tomorrow morning,
Okay.
we will have the clowns, bicycle units, the motorized units at that school, where we give every kid a backpack and school supplies.
Well, that's wonderful, and we thank you so much for bringing the organization back to Kansas City. I know that you were the Imperial Potentate when the decision was made that you would come back to Kansas City, and we're glad that you're here. We know that we welcome you with open arms, and we're very appreciative of not only you being here, but the money that you're giving back to our community. So thank you again, and we look forward to spending the rest of the week with you.
Absolutely. It's good to be home.
It's good to be home. I always close my show by saying that people talk about change, and we know that change is inevitable. And if we want to see change, we have to be that change we want to see. Check me out on Facebook. My Facebook page is Dr. Marj on Facebook. Or you can contact me on What's Up Kansas City with Dr. Marj at gmail.com.
Funding for this program is made possible by the following sponsors and partners.
Welcome to another segment of the Dr. Marj Show.
Whole.